Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Please ignore the fact that I'm sitting on my floor. I am moving out of my apartment currently, so I have literally no furniture. Let me just show you guys what my apartment looks like right now. This is my bedroom. Yeah, and I'm sitting on a mat on the floor, so this is the situation. We're just gonna have to deal with it. So a few days ago, I posted on my Instagram story and I asked you guys to ask me some questions because I feel like we've barely scratched the surface of getting to know each other. I feel like in my other videos, there's not that much room for you guys to like actually get to know me, so I'm making this video. Difference between apprentice, trainee, etc., and pay. Okay, so in the ballet world, there are rankings, and usually right when you graduate out of school, you go into a trainee program. For a trainee program, you usually have to audition to get in. You're usually not paid, and you're usually paying to be there. There are some trainee programs that are full scholarship, which is great. If you're comparing the ballet world to the real world, you can kind of look at a traineeship as going to college. So you're at the highest level of education, but technically still a student. After a traineeship, you would usually go get a second company contract. And a second company contract, you can kind of look at it as like an internship. Usually second company members are paid, or I'd like to think that. I know I was paid as a second company member, which was really amazing. Every company's different, so this is just like a general assumption I'm making. It's usually just a stipend that you're paid. You're not actually on a paycheck yet because you technically are not employed yet. And then after a second company, but also kind of at the same level, would be an apprenticeship, which is what I'm gonna be doing next year. Usually you spend 1 to 3 years in this second company or apprenticeship stage of your career. However, I would say an apprenticeship can be ranked higher than a second company member contract, and that is because usually as an apprentice, you're like considered to be part of the company. It's usually like the entry level job. And then after the apprenticeship, you will usually get into a company, and that's ranked by corps de ballet, demi-soloist, soloist, first soloist, and then principal. Usually. Uni versus conventional trainee process to become a pre-professional ballerina. As a lot of you guys know, I went to the University of Utah to get my BFA in ballet, which I would kind of say is an unconventional route. I went to the University of Utah for 3 years, which in my mind, I kind of saw as a traineeship. At the end of the day, they are very different programs. At a university, you're definitely getting like a more academic side to dance, which I feel like is why a lot of people don't go that route, because technically you don't need all of that. It is very helpful, and like all of my classes have helped me tremendously in the ballet world, but a lot of people don't go that route because they want to focus more on their physical training than their mental training. I think that both are really important, and that's why I chose to go to the university, because I really valued my education. And as someone who went to public school all 4 years in the Silicon Valley, like I was kind of under a lot of pressure to go to college. I really loved it. I got so much great experience while I was there. Obviously, everyone has a different experience when they go to college, but for me, I thought it was really helpful and amazing. And I made so many amazing friends and memories, and like, college was awesome. Like, I can't deny it. But yeah, the more traditional route, usually you leave home at like 15, go to a ballet boarding school, you're homeschooled. Honestly, sometimes I feel like those people turn out kind of weird. But maybe that's just because I went to public school and college, but I don't know. Dancers are weird. Are you half Japanese? Greetings from Japan. No, I'm actually half Chinese, but I have gotten that before. What exercises would you recommend for prepping for point? All the TheraBand exercises and lots of releves. You should be able to do 32 releves on each leg individually before you go buy a pair of point shoes. Strength is very important. What made you decide to go to college first before auditioning for companies? So this one's actually kind of interesting because I wasn't sure I wanted to be a professional dancer when I graduated high school. I really loved ballet, but I also really, really valued my education, and I really wanted to go to college. At the end of all my college apps, it came down to the University of Utah with a ballet major, or Chapman University in nursing. That was a really tough choice for me to make because I really, really wanted to dance, but at the same time, I really wasn't sure if I could go professional. I kind of came to the conclusion that if I wanted to follow this dream of being a professional ballet dancer, I would have to do it now, because you have to dance while your body is young and able and healthy. If I was going to pursue this dream, it would have to be now or never. So that's why I chose ballet, because I can always come back to school, and I do plan on coming back to school after my dance career. What sparked your love for dance? Are your parents or family dancers, or not at all? I am the only dancer on both sides of my family, which is kind of interesting. A lot of my family is in STEM. My aunt on my dad's side makes documentaries, which is so cool. If you've seen the documentary about Celine Dion, yeah, that was her. She's a really cool aunt. Anyways, when I was a kid, I really wanted to be on my dance studio's jazz competition team, but in order to do that, I had to take ballet class twice a week, which I absolutely hated. But I really wanted to do it, so I sucked it up and I went to the class, and my best friend was in the class. It made me forget how much I hated ballet, and I started to fall in love with it. So yeah, forever grateful to her. Did you complete your degree at Utah? Yes, I did. I just graduated this last December. Yay! But technically I left after my junior year because the program has this amazing option where you can finish up online, which is what I did. But yeah, I have a Bachelor's of Fine Arts in ballet and a minor in psychology, so kind of fun. Did you ever do any ballet competitions? If so, what variations or repertoire? Oh my gosh, yes I did. I did YGB twice. My first year I was 15 and I did Gamzati variation, which I was not ready for. I literally went on stage, did that first cabriole, and my feet didn't touch. And that's when I knew. I was like, okay, it's over. And on the first On Day Don attitude turn, I literally almost face planted, so it was not a good experience. I think that year I also did like a original contemporary work that my teacher choreographed on me. That was cool, but my shoe almost came off on stage. And then I did it again when I was 17, I think, and I did the Key Tree Act 3 variation. I'll link here. I got some comments on that video that were like, oh, she's a little bit big to be a ballerina. And I was like reading them at the ripe age of 17, like, oh, that's nice. I actually ended up placing top 24 in that though. Then I also did Grand Pas Classique, Pas de Deux. We did not place in the Pas section though, unfortunately. What are you most excited for at Grand Rapids Ballet? Swan Lake, getting to work with my new director because he came and staged Romeo and Juliet on Orlando Ballet at the beginning of the year, and he was amazing to work with. Getting more contemporary experience because I literally have none. I actually have no contemporary experience. It's really bad. I should have gotten some at the University of Utah, but they never casted me in any contemporary works. I was only put in classical stuff for some reason. So I don't know, maybe I just suck at contemporary. Are you gonna try to dance in a company in Europe at some point? Yes, I really would love to. That would literally be my dream. I don't think I'm quite ready to move to Europe yet. One day though, I do want it to happen because that's where all the tall people are at and that's where I need to go. What do you do to reset after a long week? I literally burn a day. This past year, I only got Sundays off. I was dancing 6 days a week. So I would use my Sundays to go to Trader Joe's, get my groceries for the week, maybe clean my apartment, Sunday reset. Since the season is over, how had this past season been at Orlando Ballet? Honestly, good and bad. The good was the beginning of the season. It was amazing. I think they really liked me. I got amazing casting for Nutcracker and decent casting in Romeo and Juliet. And then after Nutcracker, I think that they decided that I was too tall, and so they kind of stopped using me, and I didn't get to perform in Peter Pan or the Triple Bill. That kind of sucked. I was just on the sidelines watching rehearsal most of the time, marking. I didn't really get to dance. I was mostly just standing on the side in my pointe shoes. And while that was still a good experience and something that probably every dancer is gonna go through, I just feel like I could have been so much more productive with my time. But overall, I made so many amazing friends, and yeah, everyone there is so talented and nice, so. Do you ever feel like your progress in ballet is stagnant? If so, how do you deal with it? Honestly, I used to feel that way a lot, but now that I've matured as a dancer and a person, I've realized that coming to that conclusion is just a little bit silly, because every day that you show up, every day that you put in the work, you are improving. And it's gonna be so small and slight that you're probably not gonna see it until a few years down the line because you feel the same every single day. But maturing as a dancer is realizing that you need to be patient with your improvement. Because if you're not, it's just detrimental to yourself, your mental health, and your dancing. Absolute dream ballet role. Juliet. Oh my gosh, Juliet. I had always loved Juliet, but ever since we did it at Orlando Ballet and getting to watch the principals do that role from the wings, it was just so heart-wrenching, so moving, so emotional and raw. Do you have tips or exercises to improve extensions? Yours are so beautiful, love you. Something I've discovered lately about my own extensions is that the standing leg is the most important thing in the entire world. Yes, you need to have flexibility and you need to have a strong hip flexor in order to lift your leg that high, but the most important part is your standing hip. These are your hips, okay? You need to be able to engage your standing hip in order to push this leg from here. Do you know what I mean? It needs to push from the bottom. And that's what teachers say when they say lift from your hamstring. It means push down into the floor, get your standing hip underneath you so that you can actually get that leg up. And that has helped me so much. At what age did you start pointe? I got my pointe shoes the day before my 13th birthday. Technically, I got them when I was 12, but I didn't start pointe till I was 13. From which age were you in a pre-professional ballet school? I don't know if you would consider my home studio a pre-professional ballet school because a lot of the dancers there weren't serious about going pro. Also, I don't know if the University of Utah falls into that category because I know a lot of dancers go there just because they don't want to stop dancing, but they don't necessarily want to go professional, and they'll usually like double major. I guess the only like serious pre-professional ballet school I've been to is Orlando Ballet, and that has just been this past year. But if you count the University of Utah, that would be since 2021. Best advice for a pre-pro hoping to audition for trainees/second companies. Audition everywhere. Audition season the past few years has been so rough. You should definitely audition to at least 9 schools, 3 safety schools, 3 target schools, and 3 reach schools. Kind of similar to how you would do it if you were applying to universities. That's the minimum I would recommend. I would say even more if you can. This past year I auditioned for 35 companies, and I only got 2 yeses. So definitely audition everywhere you can. Video auditions, in-person auditions are a lot better, or if you have a connection and someone can send your materials to the director directly, that is also very helpful. And just because one company says no does not mean another company won't say yes. How tall are you and does it affect your dancing? I'm 5'8", and yes, it does affect my dancing. I would say the hardest thing for me is like very fast work and very fast shifts of weight. So I do think that it's harder in that sense. What would you do if you quit ballet? I would probably go into either physical therapy or nursing. How much money do you get as a dancer? Not a lot. The arts are pretty underfunded, especially in the United States. I'm following my dreams, so I think it's worth it in the end. I can't tell you how much money I made last year though. I was on a stipend. I wasn't getting like an hourly rate, but the stipend, which is considered good, was $300 a week, which as you know is not very livable, which is why I do social media. So yeah, keep watching my videos guys because I need it to survive, please. Anyways, what is the off season like for you and will you still post? Please say yes. Yes, I will be posting this off season. I'm mostly gonna be taking open classes, going to the gym, and hanging out with my home friends. So I'm gonna try and see how much content I can make out of that. I don't know if you guys want anything that's not ballet related. Definitely comment and let me know. How long have you been doing dance? I started when I was 11, so that makes 11 years. How do you keep up your self-confidence as a dancer and not let things get to you? Bad days are totally normal, and I think that just reminding myself that it's okay to have a bad day or a bad week. Just because you don't feel great one day doesn't mean you're not gonna feel great another day. You have to remind yourself that we are our own worst critic, and dance is so subjective. Art is subjective. There is no such thing as perfect. Chasing perfectionism isn't gonna get you anywhere. Obviously much easier said than done, and I still struggle with these things a lot too. Favorite color to wear? Honestly, pink lately. What's your favorite ballet you've been in? George Balanchine's Serenade. Oh my gosh. I had the honor and the privilege to do Waltz Girl, which is like mind-blowing to me. I will probably never do anything like that ever again, but let me just say that was the height of my career thus far. What an experience. That feeling of freedom, and like I completely lost myself on stage that opening night, and like, oh, it was just so good. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go watch it. I'm gonna link New York City Ballet's video right here. How was your time at the University of Utah? So good. I personally had an amazing experience. I got amazing casting. I got to do such amazing repertoire. I made so many amazing friends. I honestly don't regret going to college at all. Yeah, I just learned so much, so definitely an amazing experience for me. What is your dream ballet role, favorite leotard brand, and pointe shoe style? I said my favorite dream role was Juliet, but my favorite leotard brand is obviously Yumiko. Guys, come on. I'm a Yumiko girl to the day I die. Okay, for pointe shoe styles, I've worn almost everything, honestly. I've worn blocks, Grishkos, Russians, Freeds, Gainers, Suffolks. Okay, I guess that's not everything, but that's a lot. So far, my favorites have been Freeds and Suffolks. This year, I mostly wore Freeds. I think next year I'm transitioning to Suffolks again just because I love how flat the bottom is. Someone else asked what my favorite Freed makers are. That would be Treble Clef, because that's the ones that I wore. I know a lot of people like Castle though. Is it okay to start dance at 13? Yes, it's never too late to start dance. It's definitely not too late to start at 13 because you can probably still make it to the professional level at that age. Some people I know have started at 15. They still made it to professionals, so it's totally doable. You just have to be willing to put in the work. If you believe in yourself, then I think anything is possible. That just about wraps up today's video. This was really fun, and I hope that you guys kind of got to know me a bit better. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you all, and I will see you next time. Bye.